All right, guys. So this is my authenticity matters. This is like I don't even know what this is kind of like, I don't even know what we're doing yet. I know kind of my pattern that I want to do it, but I don't know what I want to call it, whether this is going to be like more of a teaching or more of a explanation. I'm going to go into a deep dive where I'm going to talk about reflections and how I feel about each of these things. But I'm going to tell you guys about there's four little points that I'm going to bring up, okay? So, first of all, happy March. It is now March 2nd, 3rd, something like that. Yeah, I think it's the 3rd. And so I told you guys in my life update when I talked to you guys that masking was a big, like, no for me, right? Like, masking is just not working anymore. When I mask, I like drain myself of more energy, right? And so I kind of alluded to this, but the first like point that I wanted to bring about in all of this is, the online guru like business, like the way business works says you have to like be a guru. You have to know your stuff. You have to be an expert or people aren't going to take you seriously. Authenticity says no. Authenticity says I'm going to help the people I'm meant to help and I'm going to find those people a lot easier when I'm not way up here looking down on people, right? I'm going to find those people easier when I'm looking at you guys and I'm going, look, like there's been so much in my life that's been upside down and backwards and sideways. And like I said in my life update, there are things that are being stripped away from us. And I am okay with that because I know that we are going to have another avenue presented to us, right? It is scary. And I said that in my life update video. Like, it is scary to actually think, like, okay, this whole like foundation is crumbling. But that's what it's supposed to do because it's not what is meant for us anymore. It served its purpose. We needed it for a while. I needed it. I needed to feel secure. I needed to feel safe. But this form of safe and secure means that I will never get up here because if I get up here, I lose this automatically. So I have been keeping myself down so that I don't lose this foundation. And that is not at all what I want. I want us to have more. I want to help more people. I want to get in front of more people. Like, I want all of that. And so I have to let go and I have to say, okay, it's up to you, right? So that is my first space where authenticity is kind of ringing true, right? Second space, unschooling. For those of you who know that I homeschool, some of you don't know that we actually unschool. And for a long time, unschooling looked like everybody telling me, you have no idea what you're doing. You are ruining your kids. You have to get on the ball. You have to do things. And I just kept listening to this voice inside myself that said, just wait. And I know that there are more things that are getting ready to happen, okay? Like, I am getting ready to set up a local group of homeschooling neurodivergent families that are going to support one another, that are going to come in and share interests with each other and build a support community around that we just don't have right now. And so, as we do that, I know that the doors are going to open not only for myself, but for my kids as well, that they're going to see things that they didn't know existed. They're going to be like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. I didn't realize you could have that kind of a job, or I didn't realize that was something that you could get into. And they're going to start to kind of come out of their shell and they're going to start to do more and want to do more. And I know that. So, unschooling, though, has been that moment in my brain where I'm like, every time I try to force, every time I try to push, every time we try to move it forward, there is just a shutdown that happens. And it's because it's not being they're not leading themselves, they are being drugged. And while they're being drugged, they're mad and frustrated and they don't want to be doing it in the first place. And then you drag them, and think about when you're dragging that like animal, when you're trying to train it on a leash, it takes a really long time to get it to want to walk on a leash at first, unless they're like rewarded. Here's treats. Come on, let's get the treat. And then they start to walk. So you have to like accommodate while you're doing stuff. So that is like a thing. And I have had moments in all of this where my kids have had talks with me. They've opened up to me about different things that they're doing that are academic in nature. They're just not academic because I gave it to them to do, they did it, and I graded it. And I feel like when they do it on their own, they own that. They're like, I did that. Like, I'm getting better at this. I'm wanting to put forth the effort, and it helps everybody all the way around. So, that is my second point where I've like my authenticity is we unschool, and we unschool because that's what works for us. Now, that's not going to be everybody's story. Some people need that their kids are going to fall apart without the structure. And I 1,000% get that. Like, my situation is not everybody's situation. Okay. But if you resonate with that, if you are like, why do I always feel like I'm like hurting my kids almost, right? Like psychologically. Like, take a deep breath and just know that it's going to be all right. And you can let go of those reins a little bit as you feel led to, as you feel like you should, and let them take over a little more of that, right? Okay. So that was my unschooling. The Florida move. Everybody's like, what's going on with the Florida move? Are you moving? Are you not? And the truth of the matter is, I believe we're moving. I wholeheartedly believe we're moving. And I will never not believe we are moving. Okay. And everybody's like, well, when? When is it going to happen? When is that magical day? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought that we had everything lined up, and then things started falling through. And part of it is because I had to look at myself and go, okay, like, no, I really want a home base here in Indiana too. Like, I want my home base to be in Indiana. I just don't want to live in Indiana wholeheartedly because I don't like the cold. I don't like the snow. There's so much more to do. I want, and for those of you, some of you might be completely turned off by this, and that's fine. If you are, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And you're just not my people. And I get that. And I hope you find someone who is your people. But for me, I want my kids to have a safe, stable place up north, up here, and then down south where it's, where we have less of the winter ice, cold, dreariness, right? And there are more opportunities to get out of the house. There are more opportunities to do those things. So that is what feels aligned. I have always felt called to that. And so this is where we're at. We are going to be finding a place up here eventually. I don't know when. I'm literally just kind of like listening and watching and keeping my mind open for the opportunities. Okay. And like, that's another thing. You have to kind of prime the pump, right? You have to get your reticulate activating system, I think it's called, that basically says, no, like, this is what my brain is now filtering for. It's looking for opportunities. It's looking for opportunities work wise. It's looking for opportunities, and maybe not work, but like freelance, things like that. It's looking for opportunities like house wise and, places to live wise. And that's kind of what I'm priming myself for, that we find somewhere up here first so that we can get situated, and that work situations kind of all come together and we end up being able to do both. And that is exactly what I'm believing. And I have zero reason to believe that it won't happen, because that was a dream that was given to me. And I tell you guys this all the time. If you have dreams that are given to you, they are given to you for a reason. You are supposed to realize those. You just have to get yourself into a space where you're listening and following the guidance that you have to do to get there. So, and then finally, what is going on with the neurocircus? Obviously, like I said, you guys have heard like Permission to Thrive is coming up, and your energetic weather forecast and things like that. Forecast to thrive, or energetic weather to thrive, all of that kind of stuff, right? So the neurocircus is not going anywhere. I look at the neurocircus as like the parent of everything else, right? It's this big overarching umbrella, and then all of these little things. And if you listened to, I believe it was my update video, I said that I was excited, like way back when we were first doing Dream Life season. And I was like, this is what I want to do because I want to have like a media company. And so I want to have like your energetic weather forecast, and I want to have like dream life season, and I want to have, all of this stuff, and I want it all to live together. And I know that that's where we're headed. I just don't know when and how. I don't know who's going to help me because I know that I can't do this all by myself. Like, that's insane. I'm not even going to try. Like I said, the whole Dream Life season just kind of crumbled because I can't do that by myself. So, as far as what is next, just stay tuned, right? We're going to be working on, the permission to thrive stuff. I'm really excited about that. That has become kind of like my North Star in it for a moment here because unschooling was this thing that I hid. I didn't want to tell people. And that's because the first time I talked about it openly on TikTok, I had so many haters come at me. And so I was like, okay, no, we're not going to put that part of my life on the internet because I'm not ready to be criticized that way. And now I'm at a point where criticize me, don't criticize me. It doesn't matter. You're not living my life. You're not with my family. You're not the one who is in the arguments, in the fights, feeling the fight or flight, feeling the energy in the house. So because of that, right? Because of that, you can have your opinion, you can think what you want to think. I am going to do what I need to within all of this. So that is kind of our authenticity matters in challenges and support. This is kind of, the challenges that I've had and the support that I haven't had, right? And I said that, like, I started that, but like, this is not a woe is me video. This is a video to come out and say, these are the things that I don't talk about. And I don't talk about them because immediately people go to, well, just, I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me, you need to just get a 9 to 5. And then you can go to work and you can come home and your kids can go into public school and they can go to school and they can come home and everybody else does it. Why can't you? And well, first of all, a lot of other people would not be able to handle the amount of arguing, fighting, fussing, frustration every single day. It's not once in a while. It's not on a Monday because we had a weekend off. It is every single day when we had to do this. My nervous system was jacked until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning when I could finally bring it down after I got them to school late every single day. And then after all of that, it would immediately ramp up about 2 o'clock when I had to get ready to get them because I knew that I was going to get whining and moaning and complaining when they came home. And so I think I had 3 hours of a semi regulated nervous system every day. I couldn't work through that, even if I wanted to. I was not able to take orders from somebody without snapping. I would lose my job. Like, that is just the truth of the situation that we were in. That people were like, oh, well, just do this. Like, you don't get it. Like, we tried to just do that. Like, this is not like I just want to do what I want to do. This is like this is the final way of doing things because a lot of the other things that we've tried have just not worked in the moment. And that's part of the reason why I'm trying to do permission to thrive because I know that I'm not alone. And I know that there are parents out there that are going through that nervous system jacked up back and forth, having to put their kids in public school, but they don't know how to do anything else. And so instead of deciding, I had made a decision that I was going to be responsible for my own kids because I could, because I was able in the moment to stay home. And I was not going to make other kids pay for the fact that my kids didn't want to listen. I was not going to drag the whole class down. I was not going to make my kids go through never getting to do anything fun because they were always behind and stuff and whatever. There was just so many reasons. It's like you can come at me with anything and I can tell you we've tried it, I've thought about it, we've done this, we've done that, we've changed this, we're here. And reality is reality, but also reality is that system, it worked when we needed it to, but we know so much more now. And it's kind of like that when you know better, you do better. And that can trigger a lot of people. Like it did me for a long time because I was like, well, I know what you're saying, but I don't know how to apply that and I don't know how to get myself out of this part, right? For a long time, I was living in victim mode. I was living in everything has happened to me, and I wasn't outwardly saying stuff had happened to me, but I was living a life of I don't get to have all the good stuff because all of this bad stuff happened to me. And so I can't get my brain to not think that more bad stuff is going to happen to me. And so we just continuously fall into the same patterns. It's evolve or repeat, right? And so I had to finally own my story and own it from a point where I was like, you know what? We're going to do this thing, and we're going to say that we are moving forward because we're allowed to move forward. And it is scary, and it does feel irresponsible according to the world. It does feel like I'm just dropping balls everywhere that I should have been better about, done more, fixed this, changed that, done this. But at the end of the day, that's all because a system said that this is the way to do it. And that's an outdated system. We have new ways of running things now. So we don't want to let go of the old system because we don't know the new operating system yet. Think about when you get a new iPhone, okay? And you are so used to where everything is and how to find everything in the menu and all of that. And you get a new one and you're just like, ugh, I don't like this. And you spend probably the first, 2 or 3 days like frustrated, right? And then all of a sudden it clicks. All of a sudden it becomes this, it's really not that bad. And then you start to love it because you see how much more you can do with it. You see the new ways that things are. You see, everything that the other one didn't have that this one has. And that is where we're at right now. The old system, it's reliable because we know what to think and how to handle it. But a lot of us have put ourselves through so many problems, so much trauma, so much anxiety from it. The new systems that are here that we can see, that we have seen work, they're here. And once we can get used to those systems and we realize what they offer, the benefits that they offer, and how maybe they're not this kind of stability, but it's got this kind of stability, which is different, right? Alrighty, guys. Thank y'all for listening to my TED Talk. Okay, not really, but I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I am going to do a deep dive that will be posted on Friday. Come back, hear my reflections, hear more of my story about that. I will see you guys all later. Bye.